Where there's a wheel, there's a way. But with bicycles, the way has been rather tortuous.
The monument lies partly in Nevada, but mostly in California, and contains nearly 3,000 square miles.
Play it cool, don't get overexcited where you're going to crash or anything if you can help it.
Now let us visit this fascinating valley of color and sunshine.
I could go miles and miles on one of these, Father.
So you should.
In the dictionary, if you look up regret, you would see me planning this ride.
So the route. This isn't your typical clean gravel road. No. This is 740 miles, or 1,190 kilometers, with about 47,000 feet of climbing, which is 14,000 meters. So that's like riding the width of Texas, or doing Alpe d'Huez 8 times, if Alpe d'Huez was made of rocks that wanted to kill you and there was no water. Right, about the water.
Last little drop.
So over 740 miles, this course has one single place to get water. So loaded up with as much water and food as we can carry, we start from Yuma and head to Blythe. This is 115 miles with 3,600 feet of climbing. Stage 2 is from Blythe to Sahara. This is 126 miles with 6,800 feet of climbing. Day 3, Sahara to Primm. That's only 90 miles with 5,700 feet of climbing. Day 4, the biggest of the adventure, is from Primm to Furnace Creek. This is 161 miles with 6,700 feet of climbing. Day 5 takes us from Furnace Creek to Tea Kettle, 104 miles, 12,000 feet of climbing. Day 6, 71 miles, 9,000 feet of climbing. And day 7, Lone Pine to Bishop, that's 91 miles, 5,500 feet of climbing. So you might be saying, well, that seems impossible. Who else has done this before? No one. No one has done this before on a bicycle. Why? This is the California Backcountry Discovery Route meant for motorcycles. So this is the story of two cyclists, one good, one not, while attempting to ride back-to-back days on gravel bikes, all while carrying their own tools and food from the start of the ride to the end of the ride, and also trying to find water literally in the middle of the desert, all with the simple goal to find out, is this possible?
Both of you guys, I can't fathom.
When you look at this on paper, you're like 130 miles, 5,000 feet of climbing. That's not that big of a deal. But we were going downhill. I'm in my 50, doing like 300 watts and going 1 mile an hour. That's how deep the sand is. Going downhill is difficult.
This is by and by.
Watch it out.
I can't. Here we go. Looking back over my life, spent most of it on time, pulling my belt tight. It's just me and the starting line.
If I had a lighter. Guys, I don't know you. I'll never see you again, but I love you.
This is great. No, this is
You have a wonderful rest of your day, okay?
unbelievable.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
That was
This is-
beautiful.
I can't wait to look at your thing.
Have a great trip.
Look at this thing. Oh,
All right, Tyler. Tell me who you are and why the hell you're doing all this.
That's a big question to unpack. My name is Tyler Pierce. We are in Yuma, Arizona, and I'm feeling a weird mix of emotions between terrified and extremely excited. Like I'm about to do or embark on the greatest thing I've ever done, but that's future me. Future me is so stoked. Present me is very skeptical on how this is, if I'm even able to do it. Dude, if you know who I am, like I'm very not qualified to do this. So, you know.
My name is Jeremiah Bishop, and I'm in Yuma, Arizona. And I'd have to say that right now, on the cusp of this massive ride. In fact, the longest ride week I've ever done in my life, if we manage it. Yeah, I'd say I feel like really joyful, really excited. The theme of the Impossible Routes is to really take on that which has not been ridden. And we're taking on the California Backcountry Discovery Route, which is a motorcycle route. Deep sand, navigational issues are of course going to be a big part of it. The rocks, I don't know, it might be too much for gravel bikes. You know, moving forward with these adventures in the Impossible Routes, I think that camaraderie and teamwork really makes it so cool. Like the best moment for the Impossible Ride in Mauna Kea was not when I finished. It was when Tyler finished. And for me, like I ran over to him, just getting this huge bear hug, almost picked him up off the ground. Yes!
What's that?
Yes! Top of the world. And I was like, you made it! And it was just like this moment because he was like, you know, an hour down the climb, struggling, and you know, I hope that we can, you know, rally together. Hope we can finish together. And I'll be gutted if we don't make it, but that'll also be pretty entertaining too if we don't make it.
I mean, this route is like something out of a storybook, you know? There could be dragons out there and I just wouldn't be surprised.
Today is gonna really tell, because we don't really know what the terrain is like.
We're gonna try to do this without your help.
So once we do it, and we get this one done, we'll be like, okay, this is hard, but it's doable. Or we're gonna get 20 miles in and go, let's go to the beach. Let's not do this.
Well, now we're gonna go into the unknown. But there's a famous quote that says it's not the unknown, but it's your thoughts of the unknown that you're ever really afraid of. So to expand and to go out into those places allows you to find yourself.
Into the unknown.
Into the unknown.
Immediately hitting the first bit of gravel, we realized this was going to be a long trip. The washboard, and if you don't know what washboard is, it's like when cars drive on a dirt road and the suspension oscillates and it like cups out. And so there's basically just rivets of rock essentially across the road, and you're just
So I already, you know, I got dust in my nostrils, stiff headwind. Initial reactions are
that 760 miles of this is going to be really tough. It's been all uphill since Yuma, into the headwind, but we'll just keep on taking it, you know, moment by moment, mile by mile.
So this was like unknown, is what exactly this is like, because from high altitude in a map, this looks perfect. It is loose, and the washboard, I mean, your taint is just getting this. I was extremely unprepared for the fact that I'm not going to be able to pedal my bike or sit on my bike in the way I usually do. It was so jarring that you sort of had to hover above the seat and then pedal within the dips of the washboard. So it took a tremendous amount of focus to ride properly on these dirt roads. It wasn't clean, smooth dirt roads. I mean, these were rough. So on the GoPro, you're not going to be able to tell the layers upon layers upon layers of death. Like
just really, really wild. I've seen some wild places, and it's kind of the oh shit moment too, because we have to
go through that.
Yeah, go through all of that and then some.
Now, the California Backcountry Discovery Route had already told and explained that there are, on this day, possible deep sand. We didn't really know what that meant or how bad that was, but when we hit this first sand wash, basically riding up a dried out riverbed on our bikes, we could not ride.
This sand, it's really not sand, it's like rock.
No, it's like beach pebbles.
Yeah, it's like we're in like a dried lake bed. It's difficult. Yeah, we've been walking for about an hour and a half, I would say. Like, yeah, maybe you could ride at 1 mile an hour doing 500 watts. So it's just way more energy efficient to actually walk the bike. Getting a little over it, to be honest.
So we are walking and walking and walking and walking. I think we walked for a good close to 2 hours. We're burning through water, and our current pace is 1 mile an hour. We come across this guy in a side-by-side, and I'm like, hey man, you know, here's the deal. I can't take any water from the crew, and we're probably gonna die. And so do you have any water to spare?
Okay, dude, I don't know if you count that as cheating, but I didn't get it on film, but there was a little like side-by-side that was coming right here. And I just asked him how long this wash is. He said we're almost done, but I asked him for some water. So Jeremiah, what do you think of, like, on the rules? Like, that wasn't planned, like that was just a good happenstance?
Bikepacking rules as Trail Angels are okay.
That was lucky, because bro, we're 40 miles into this and we've been riding for 4.5 hours.
As soon as we were through the sand wash, one of the most difficult parts of the day, we hit just this unbelievably difficult climb that's super off camber, huge boulders everywhere. You know, you're doing 300-400 watts just to keep the bike upright.
But the fact that we're pedaling feels amazing. So we get over this climb, and so then I'm motivated, and we gotta go. After about, I'd say, we're 5 hours or so into the day, 6 hours, we hit some road. And I've never been so amazed at how smooth road is, right? If like a regular road rider would be on this, he'd probably say this is the worst road I've ever ridden. But the fact that it was pavement at all was glorious.
It's a road! Yeah. Only 6 hours into the ride. I've never been so happy to be on a road.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been absolutely bonkers. So to see some pavement, even shitty pavement like this, looks like a dream. It's so awesome.
Ew. I got you, dude. Okay, we're gonna try to lube his chain while riding. I'm getting it, dude. That's pretty lubey, dude. I got you. Yes, dude. My vibes right now are so high.
So we made up a lot of time on that road, and we were feeling good about ourselves. And then we hit and turn onto basically what's called like sand wash road or something. It was so like, no, dude, not again. And we were trying to ride, and there's so many points where you come into a complete stop. You're walking a little bit, and then you're able to get back on the bike again, and then you're walking again. And then when you are riding, you know, there was a time where I was doing 300-400 watts, and my Wahoo stopped reading. It was like, oh yeah, there's no motion. At this point, I start absolutely cracking.
What'd you say?
There's no way I'm making it 20 miles without water. I've already been, my kidneys are hurting. I can't see anything in the distance. Like, there's no way.
Yeah. This is rough. We just got onto Bradshaw Road, I think. And yeah, it's back to the sandy, bumpy washboard of hell.
And I just stopped. I was like, I don't have 15 miles in me, man. I don't have 1 mile in me. I need water, I'm dying. So I go and I actually start pulling every bottle out. Like, you know, there's just a little bit of fluid at the bottom of your bottle that you can't get out with the nozzle. I am unscrewing everything and getting any bit of fluid into me possible. I've eaten all my food, hoping that there's gonna be water in that food. You know, I have nothing on me. And we're a good hour at the minimum away from this town.
I mean, I thought we were good when we got on that fast road, and you turn on this Bradshaw Trail or whatever it is, and it's like just more of this deep sandy stuff, and it's like the last little drop.
And so it was like day one, and I'm thinking, well, guess I'm done for. But Jeremiah just says, dude, just get over this. There's like this little climb. You get to the top of there, and then it's all downhill to the town. And so I just will myself to the top of this climb. Oh, there is no town. There is no town. He's just lying to me, just to get me to keep pedaling. And so we get over the top of this thing, and he goes, it's all downhill from here. And what his idea of downhill must be is not what is fact. And so it is just like, yeah, there's a little slight downhill, but then you go back up and you go down, you go back up, and it's so difficult. And I am on the edge. I want to just jump in the car and turn this around. Like, let's just act like this never happened. And we come over this little hill, and there's a whole crew of like motorcycle people out in the desert, right? Got side-by-sides, motos, like the whole family squad. And I just beeline straight to these people.
You need water?
If you can,
Yeah.
that would be amazing. I can't even tell you how close I was to just getting in the car.
This is like gold right here. I mean, we only have like 10 miles left. We're so ready to tap out.
Thank you. You guys have a wonderful ride. Yo, it's crazy how water will just literally bring you back to life.
Oh, that's such a bad spot back there. But I was just
Well, you were
ignoring it.
cheerful, dude.
Well, I was just trying to make you not quit. I thought for sure you were going to tap out.
And what's so strange is that when you push your body to the absolute limit, where you are near death, any sort of sustenance, you all of a sudden feel every molecule of energy in that sugar. Or this water just all of a sudden opens up my blood vessels. But the 2 bottles of water that I got were enough to limp us through. We got over the hill. We come into like this farmland, which was like a total contrast to what we had just been seeing. So it was like green and humid. We limp it into this RV park, and I am so wrecked.
Yeah. I was straight up laughing because it was so ridiculous. Like walking through pebbles and beach sand for hours. We can do 10 miles without water, 15 miles without water. I mean,
You said that. I said, no way.
Yeah.
I said, there's no way I'm gonna make this.
But you know what?
And then you told me there was a town. You're like, look at the town. There's water in the town. We never hit a town.
No, we definitely didn't.
Is the route seeming to be possible or impossible?
The entire thing is not possible given our current setup and rules. There's ways to make it possible, but we are, I believe, biting off a little more of the hero cape than we should.
That's the theme here. The theme is to find the limit. And this one, I think we were going to find it. We were going to find it. We got close to it today, and it was day 1.
So we wake up, and day 2 is underway. Everyone is just doing, like, they're just going about their motions. I can't stop the machine. The machine is rolling. No one's complaining, so I can't.
I have a recovery score of 5%, and that's worrisome. Because I don't know how much, like, if I'm already this wrecked, I can't really continue getting wreckeder. So after today, if we finish today, I really don't even know what's going to happen. How low can your recovery score get before you're dead?
So we start day 2, again, freezing, which is, I don't understand. We're in the desert. Isn't it supposed to be hot?
It's cold. It's cold. It's early. It's cold. It's early. It's cold and it's early, and it's a big day, and it's cold and it's early.
We're coming out of Blythe, the town, and there's a sheep herding thing going on. And we just kind of run up on all of this sheep going through the roads. And so I was like a sheep herder there for a minute.
Okay. All right.
Well.
Okay, it's beautiful out here, of course. For my vitals being so in the gutter, I actually feel pretty optimistic about today. My right ankle is like twisted or something from the walking. there's all these little ailments that I wasn't prepared for. I know this doesn't do it justice, but I'm having a good time. It's just very difficult. Today is going significantly better than yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Today is more what I kind of had in mind. Like, yeah, it's technical, it's difficult, and it's long, but you know, it's doable. Yesterday was not doable.
Yeah, we came over a pass this way, and I mean, it looks close, but that's like an hour and a half away, coming down this sandy, but more packed road than yesterday. I really like today's route so far. Really makes such a difference if you can ride it. I mean, even if it's challenging, and even if you're like, you know, sidewinding and kind of getting caught up in a couple little sandy washes, that's all right. But I think like not having to walk for an hour and a half, I mean, that was a soul crusher yesterday.
We pop out and spend a little bit of time checking out this shoelace gas station or shoe gas station, whatever they call it, where there's like shoes all over this. I'm not really sure why people throw their shoes on this gas station. That was kind of neat. And I was vibing with the day. I was feeling pretty good. So we go down this one road, but then, you know, the map is saying we're way off track.
All right, so we got a little lost. You know, out here, roads, what are roads? And so it says we're supposed to just go into the bush, but that can't be right.
Little navigational snafu here. So
this is not the road we're supposed to be on.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be on another road, but we can't figure out how to get to that road. The Strava route you sent me we are not on course. Well, this will take us to Route 66.
Yeah,
and then we turn right.
And so at this point, we did a detour, and I think it added miles, but it cut feet of elevation. And this road went on forever. You were just going in this one direction forever. And I was like, I don't want to say hallucinating, but my mind was going in some weird ways.
Dude, I've been seeing Chipotles in my mind every quarter mile. That should be the move, dude, just as a joke. Like if I was a billionaire and I owned Chipotle, I'd put one out here. Fully stocked with employees. One customer a year. That's insane.
What are you talking about? Let's ride.
Again, middle of nowhere. There's no one to be found anywhere. And somehow we got super lucky and found this guy who had an ice chest full of bottles of water. So we ended up completely topping off from this guy. It was phenomenal. I had no doubt in my mind that the rest of the ride wasn't going to just be smooth sailing.
Just go. Oh my God, I hate everything. We're going downhill and I'm using my 50 in the rear. Right now I'm walking. This is, bro. Look at this. That's, you know, cool. So is this what the route you had tried to avoid? This wash?
No, this is the official backcountry like moto route. This is the designated route. I mean, we're just not on 1,000cc motorcycles. We're on bicycles. I asked you if you wanted to do across Death Valley and kind of just stick to like 4 days. And you said, which one's harder?
Well, past me was more ambitious than present me.
All right. Well, both of the years we better keep in gear because we got a long way to go.
We ended up cutting onto Route 66, which because of some sand washes had pulled some of the road out. So we basically had Route 66 all to ourselves.
So because the road is closed right there, we're on Route 66 by ourselves. I can do whatever I want on Route 66. I can go on this lane. I can go over to this lane. I can also die out here if I please, and I'm fixing to do that. I'm wrecked.
Trying to figure out how far away we have to go. We still have probably about 30 miles left, you know, but it's all road. Okay, so 30 miles on the road doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but we're running at daylight.
I've got half a bottle of water left, and we got to go into those mountains. We got to climb like 4,000 feet right now. Yeah,
The brutal reality is
it's gonna be a 130-mile day.
half a bottle, and I mean that highway out there looks close on this map. And we need to climb to this huge mountain behind it, which out here, distances look close, but it's yeah, that's 26 miles away.
And so now we've got 26 miles of road, but it's all uphill. It's all uphill. I am out of food completely. Again, when you're this deep in it, your body is running through fuel in a way that usually you don't experience. And so you will feel a total elation 1 minute, like I want to attack, I want to do wheelies, bro, I'm the man, to then just within seconds, you're like pale and weak and think you're gonna vomit. But I quickly ended up just blowing into pieces where I almost felt like I was gonna pass out. I got a moment, I told Jeremiah, because he was putting the pace down, I said, hey man, I gotta really back off the pace. I feel like I'm gonna just faint.
Should've asked.
It kind of just came out quick.
Okay. Well, just hang there and just let it spin a little bit. You know, once it hits, usually it's just that gap, you know. How long were you out of food?
For a while.
Like half an hour?
2 hours.
2 hours?
Out of calories.
Jeez. You can't really expect so much of your body. You gotta just be easy on yourself. You're doing great. And I think we both have a lot to learn. And a big point of this thing is to learn, you know? It's not called go do the route someone else did a few minutes faster. It's doing something no one's ever done. And it's extremely aggressive, like miles per day is just ridiculous on this terrain. So you're doing great. Don't beat yourself up about it.
It's road. It's not technical. It's not hard. But at the end of a 130-mile day, you're just crawling. I'm out of food. He's out of food. We are dead. We barely made it. But we made it.
Like coming up this last hill, all I could think of was a milkshake, and yeah, we made it. We made it, and that is all that matters, right? Yeah, I'm really glad it was done. That was 10.5 hours on the second day. I mean, I've never done 2 10-hour rides back to back before. And now I know I can. I guess that's, yeah, that's what we came here for.
I'm gonna get better after I eat, but currently I'm at a low point. I think I was really good until about hour 7.
Yeah.
And then it all started to come unraveled. And it's just, when we first started, the bike was like 45 pounds because of how much water we had to bring. I brought extra water.
Tools and, yeah.
Tools and spare tires. And so that makes it so difficult because just the way you ride, everything is compounded more difficult because of the weight.
You know, people are like looking at how many miles we do or how many feet of climbing. It's irrelevant. I mean, one section today, we were pedaling downhill, and you could see it was just downhill for miles.
Yeah, the downhills are uphills.
So, Tyler's in trouble. He is looking really rough. We've gone only 2 days. Think it's gonna be close. If we can make this or not.
Feeling like you could finish.
No.
Feeling like you could start.
No. I feel like I'm the weak link, which to be expected, but like there's so many people just not even doubting that I'm just sort of like, why is someone else doubting? So you get to a point where you're past really enjoying riding. You're past getting fit. You know, this is not a progression of fitness. This is a degradation of health. My legs are wrecked. My knees are wrecked. My ankles are wrecked. Everything is just plummeting downwards. Vegan excuses. We're in a beautiful place. We're riding bikes. We're not working at a desk. I guess that's good.
Getting on the bike on day 3, my body, my mind's detached. I'm not here anymore. My body's just gonna go. But it's so strange. As soon as you start pedaling, everything just feels normal again. Everything just feels like, okay, I can do this. Which is so strange. Whatever you think is the limit to your body, whenever you're like, this is the limit, it's not just right behind that. It's not even there. It's so far beyond what you ever would imagine. When you think you're at your limit, your real limit is not even within view.
Tailwind for 2 days of headwind. Oh my gosh, it feels so good.
So not only is today shorter, the dirt so far is super good. And we've got a raging tailwind. Very much needed day of recovery, which still a 6 or 7 hour day. Like that being a recovery day is insane.
Now this day was a little bit warmer, vibes are up. Things are good. But then we're hitting this like just roller coaster of a road of ups and downs and flows, and it was one of the best feelings. I am
Vibes high, morale's high. I can't even believe that I've made it this far.
You guys getting a nice little break from the bumps here?
Yeah.
I mean, so far, this has been an absolute recovery ride.
I said to Tyler, I was like, I feel like I'm seeing unicorns and rainbows today, because, I mean, even though we're off-road and riding through rocks and sand and whatever, it's like really solid underneath, firm and packed. Yesterday, we would ride on what looks like a perfectly good road, but it was 6-inch deep sand and gravel. Got to take a little breather. We're gonna need it. We've been getting lucky here.
We were making really good time, and look, there's a lot of cool places to go see along the backcountry discovery route, but they're all meant for motorcycles. So it's like, oh, it's a 2-mile detour. Well, for a motorcycle, 2-mile detour, that's no big deal. But for a bicycle, that's now 4 miles, and depending on what the terrain is like, you know, that could end up being an hour, 3 hours for a detour. But so we do stop and actually go check out this mine, this abandoned mine.
How cool is this, man?
I love bikes again. And I think that's really neat about that. Something that's really cool about bikes is that you can absolutely hate bikes one day, and the next day your love for it is just completely brought back. I mean, we're not done with today, so I don't want to get like over cocky or optimistic, but so far, this is kind of what I had hoped this ride would be.
Being up there though and checking out that mine, I mean, that's what to me riding is about riding over terrain that stops the normal person from getting in a car and experiencing a place. It's not packed with tourists. There's not a parking lot with a gift shop. You know, you had to earn the right to go be there.
Tell me about day 3.
Day 3 was amazing. Day 3 was so much better than the other 2 days.
It was awesome. I mean, we were like flying through the Joshua trees, like it was like a roller coaster. You're just booking down through there. There are these crazy space trees hanging over the trail that we were on, which was like barely like 8 feet wide maybe.
Yeah.
And it was just like wow, this is what, you know, I dreamed of, like riding through Mojave National Preserve would be like if I had to dream about it. And yesterday was like if I had a nightmare about it.
Thoughts?
Yeah, this is showtime, is what they call it. When, it all comes together. This is the crux. Tyler and I are really gonna have to focus on working together, minding each other's water, making sure we eat, making sure we work together on the road to cover the distance easier. You know, our whole plan with this thing is to see if you can do it self-sufficient. So far, it's been marginal. It's definitely been very questionable if anybody would want to do it under normal circumstances, but today we'll just see if it's possible.
Look at that shit, dude.
What do you mean, dude?
That's
This
good.
is just so good.
That's actually impressive.
That is really impressive.
Good. This is good news. This means I can go deep today, which I'm gonna need it. 74% recovery, but so when I'm looking at my raw vitals, you know, 40s for my resting heart rate, and then we did the big day, and it went all the way up to 64 and 63. We're back down to 51, so I'm ready.
Objectively speaking, my body's adapting. Also on day 4, I changed up my bag scenario. So I wanted to try to go with a lighter setup. Me and Jeremiah actually ended up not being redundant. So I would carry CO2s and repair tools, and he would carry the spare tire and a few other things. Like, we tried to make sure that I wasn't carrying a multi-tool and so was he, or I was carrying a tire and so was he, right? So we sort of kind of gambled on going lighter, but that, we only have one spare tire with us. So I think I had 7 bottles on me. And then in my little top tube pack, I had all my food and tools. It made for a wildly different experience on the bike. And so we started day 4 with a lot of optimism.
We're carrying the maximum load of water possible. So it's like 15 extra pounds, probably. Whew. Bonkers. Like, we're screwed.
Why am I going this way? I don't want to go this way. I mean, I can't, whatever this shows, it doesn't show it well enough.
That climb out of Prim, that alone, that one climb, we could have done a whole documentary on just getting over that climb. It was unbelievable. How technical, how steep, everything. Just check every box for WTF. Why are we doing this?
Okay, I'm gonna hold on to the tree, then you hold on to me.
All right, ready?
Up there.
Yeah, this is gonna result in an epic crash.
No, just, you're good. Hold on to me. Clip in. Okay. Zip.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go! That actually worked. Holy crap.
Only 155 miles to go. No big deal.
How's that climb, Tyler?
If you were just gonna do that one climb, we could have done a whole video just on that. The impossible climb. That.
He's having day. when you've got 165 miles left and it starts like that and you're walking, I mean, we're not gonna make it. I mean, our estimated time of arrival combined with the fact that we need to go 100 miles without water, like if we keep this pace, we're done.
I mean, just blew ourselves out to get over that first initial climb. And then now the next part, I can't even begin to describe, because what you would see on the profile or what you'd see on paper, it looks like you've climbed something big and now you just get to whee and descend all the way down. No, descending was infinitely harder than climbing. How is that possible? How is it possible that going downhill is harder and slower than going uphill? Well, this road that took you along these power lines was the worst possible thing that's ever been invented. It was so deep and with like rocks and then big boulders, and so you couldn't just pick one line. You had to go all over the road, and your front end is, and there's a lot of times where you're doing 300 or 400 watts at 1 mile an hour.
Difficult, dude. So difficult. Okay, so we just came from the stupidest road in existence, and then to this smoothest blacktop I've ever seen.
This is like polished granite. This is so smooth.
This is insane. Woo! What's super difficult is that you can't eat or drink when you're on these roads because you just can't take your hands off. I was trying to hold the camera and I wrecked. 140 miles to ride. Okay.
Some people say money gets you everything, but it don't make me happy. It's not the reason my heart sings. It's what I've got. You couldn't put a price on that, 'cause I got something real. I got something real. 'Cause I got love. Yeah, yeah. I got love. Yeah, yeah. I got love. Yeah, yeah. I got love. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the peaks and valleys that I'm going through emotionally are some of the most steep, severe, probably a little bit of lack of sleep, just everything, my body running through fuel so fast. I mean, this is something that I've like astroplaned into the future, and I'm sort of like looking at it down from above.
So we're going through it, and look, we're gonna descend down into Death Valley. And again, on the profile, which is so deceiving, it looks like we're gonna just climb a little bit and then just this great descent all the way into negative 200 feet of elevation, right? We're actually below sea level. It's getting hot, I'm vibing, everything's feeling good. And it's really pretty for a little while. Pretty rough, pretty technical. And then, man, we just hit this trail. It was so technical, huge boulders, deep sand, you know, so you're having to pedal super hard just to stay upright, but then also be like a pro mountain biker. And I'm over it again. We're riding and we're riding, barely riding, by the way, just going so very slow, 3 to 5 miles an hour. That's the downhill.
Well,
that is exceptional.
I'm ready to get in the car.
Water is a pay per station. Brilliant money making scheme on their part. I do give them credit for that. However, seeing as I've got 2 tubes, 12 plugs, and the only 2 little things I always bring are like a $5 bill and tape. And I have neither. I have to wing it and hope to get lucky. Are we
where are we going? Like, there's no water.
All right.
Hi.
Hi. We had planned on getting water from here.
Okay.
Electricity's off.
The
Electricity.
power is off and scheduled until 2.
Okay.
And there's,
We can get you some bottles of water.
we just have some little 16.9 ounce.
Yeah, I mean anything would be.
Yeah, how many are you?
No, it's just me and Jeremiah.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get you some little drinking water
How many
bottles.
would you like? Would you like 4? 8?
For a person or?
Yeah.
What's the situation right now?
grim is what the situation is. And so at this point, I'm not sure how I've edited in what the rules are. And so the idea is that we're self-supported from the start of the ride to the finish of the ride. Yeah, we've got Travis is killing it with the mechanic, Biju's killing it with the food. We're not allowed to interact with that. So everything that we need, we bring on us. And so there's water here that we saw on the map. I didn't see, they planned it, I planned nothing. So then we get here and it needs money. Even if we had money, which we don't, idiots, the power's off. So I just jumped in front of the road and I asked someone for water. They're gonna go get some water for us. You know, that's cool. There's no way we're finishing. Like I'm in my head, I've got like a 6 o'clock cutoff. I'm swan diving into this van. I have no ego anymore. You know what I mean? Dude, give me 1,000,000 thumbs downs. I don't care. I'm front flipping into this van at 6 o'clock.
We come bearing gifts. Water needed in the desert. 5
Thank
bottles
you so
of
much.
Percy. You got it.
Appreciate you.
All right, man. Good
You
luck.
guys rock.
Woo.
Thanks.
We gotta help each other out in this place. It's
Oh, yeah.
rustic.
We can make it. We can make it. But it's 50-50 here, bro. No, like, sneaking an extra bottle out of this.
Hold on.
I'm counting these.
Who got these?
You're right. I've been the recipient.
I'm about to.
Of Tyler's professional begging.
And so then there was a moment here where my mindset shifted. And I went from not enjoying this at all. I was very just, ugh, this is too difficult, this is too hard. To then just switching to being like, you know what? I don't care anymore. I'm going to ride until I can't ride anymore. And then I'm going to stop. And so then all of a sudden, the finish line became wherever I wanted it to be. And that like changed my whole perspective on the day. And I got super freaking happy.
Some people cool, some people try to get by. If you don't have a reason, it's hard to make it all worthwhile. 'Cause what I've got surely makes the world go round. 'Cause I got something real. I got something real. 'Cause I got love. Yeah, yeah. I got love, love. Yeah, yeah. I got love. Yeah, yeah. I got love. Yeah, yeah.
I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more just to have Netflix give me millions of dollars to make more of these crazy expeditions.
Sand. So much sand. And it almost looks like you could ride on it. Like it had gotten a little bit of rain. So like the top was like kind of crusty, but you would just break through it. At this point, again, I'm vibing. I'm having a blast, dude. And I think maybe because I'm like a near death. And so then I'm just embracing all of the joy that life has to offer. We're riding through Death Valley. We're coming down, you know, because we're still descending. But again, descending, you don't descend here, man. You are pedaling uphill with negative elevation. Anyways, we come across this other Sprinter van and this guy's out there with a guitar. So I go over near him and I say, hey, we need some encouragement. Would you like to play us a song of hope?
We are to make it to Furnace Creek.
Are you gonna do that right now, or is that something you got to do
No, that's
later?
what, yeah, we got a long ways to go. So give us some, serenade us off into the desert, will you?
Dang, you want something with energy?
You're
You want
going this
something
direction?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
And Uncle Ron, as they call him, serenaded us with a song that was so right in the moment. And that gave us energy to just get it. And we got it.
This is By and By Camp. Here we go.
Driving through West Virginia, and I felt myself thinner with that chip on my shoulder. And this past year I got so much older. Looking back over my life, spent most of it tongue-tied. Wish I had more time listening to her speaker mind. Now I'm thinking about her every day, on my mind a typical way. Are you alive? Thinking about her every day, on my mind a typical way. Are you alive? Drinking coffee black as iron, and I couldn't be much higher without falling out of my chair. I've been so numb for so many years now. I'm thinking about her every day, on my mind a typical way. Are you alive? Force thinking about her every day, on my mind a typical way. Are you alive? To me.
Yeah, you. If I had a lighter.
Time to live to play another day. We definitely had one hell of a day. 126 miles, but I mean, miles don't even work. It could be parsecs. It could be like, it's more like light years. You know, light years don't even equate. And I think something about the miles on the sand, I mean, you can just scoop up the pebbles and river rock and you roll into this stuff and it looks solid. But then you sink. I mean, you just sink. You know, think about that normal slow gravel road or like the fresh gravel that the state puts down. That is nothing. This is like sand at a volleyball court. And in many cases, unrideable. Carrying the bike, pushing the bike, falling over the bike, crashing on the bike, and otherwise just, I mean, it takes incredible patience.
Yup. Just one of those things, like when you're out of calories, you're out of calories. I was feeling real good until 10 seconds ago.
Yeah.
We're completely out of water and food. And so there's just honestly no way we'd be able to make 40 miles, even on paved road. It's just not going to happen. We're at our limit. And even if, say, we just sucked it up and we're like, we're going to do it, we'd end up probably getting, even if we could make it, back around like 9 or 10 o'clock at night, which then meant the film crew and everyone has to sort of be around us. So if we get home at 10, then we're eating at 11. The next day is a 12,000 foot climb day. Like, pack it up, boys. And so I had no problem. I had the time of my life out there in Death Valley. But day 4, for us anyway, was impossible.
I thought I was going to be really disappointed after working on this project for months and months and months to not make that crux stage. But after seeing how much effort we put in and how hard we tried, totally good with it because we gave it everything we had.
We started with a good 3 hours of road, beautiful temperature. We woke up pretty late. I think we got on the bike around like 8:30. So I am feeling great. My resting heart rate way low, recovery way high. We hit this climb out of Furnace Creek, which it's about a 2-hour road climb. I mean, it's a big boy. But I'm telling you, the difference in how you're able to ride on road, you can ride how you want. You know, everything's so efficient, and I'm loving it.
A spectacular morning here in Furnace Creek, California. Day 5 of the impossible route, Death Valley. Mojo is back up. We're actually bouncing pretty good. Tyler's recovering really well. I've got the spring back in my step, which is really unbelievable because we did 3 10-hour days and a 5-hour day, 35 hours. Leaving Death Valley, we started out there below sea level, and now we are climbing.
So now after maybe a good 4 hours of riding, we turn on to the first gravel of the day. And I had forgotten how terrible the gravel is out here in Death Valley. And it's just the freaking washboard.
It's like this. And then your tank blows into pieces.
We're doing this climb and I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, I've got my nutrition down. You know, the flow formulas is just, I am soaking it in great. Bijou's breakfast is like just unbelievable. So I've gotten my program pretty dialed at this point, eating lots of sugar, just sugar. We're climbing, and then we start to get into Titus Canyon. And since I've never seen Titus Canyon before, I don't know what to expect. And every single turn, I'm like, this is the greatest view I've ever seen in my life.
The amount of difficulty and sand and frustration makes it just even better when you get to something like this. And this is going to be probably the highlight of the ride. Just 1,000 switchback turns.
I don't have the ability to articulate what this looks like in person and with the emotions, right? So, okay, you take a picture of it, cool. But it's taken us 5 days to get here under our own power. And that's one of the things that's so amazing about bikes is that you can get yourself up here, and the experience that you have up here is orders of magnitude greater because you got here on your own. You know, you didn't stop off at Starbucks and you've got a caramel macchiato and you drive up here and it's like, oh, cool, Instagram. We've had to suffer quite a bit to experience this, and that increases the vibe up here. It's insane.
I've been fortunate enough to see some beautiful places on this planet. Titus Canyon might be, at least right now it's fresh in my memory, the greatest place I've ever seen. And here's why. You get to ride through it.
This is so amazing.
Yeah, that, look, no matter if you're a cyclist or not, or whatever the case, like, get out your notepad, Titus Canyon.
So after that amazing experience, we hit paved road again, through Death Valley, sun setting. We gotta get back to the RV. Again, recovery is a resource like any other thing. For whatever reason, both me and Jeremiah, we're flying. We're like attacking each other, we're racing. We actually got a KOM on this section. I mean, we're lighting it up. And it was so fun because here's the thing, look, I love adventure. I love riding my bike, but there's a component of just really digging deep and going hard and fast. I love that component of riding as well. And not that this was supposed to be a race, but opening up the legs feels amazing. Now we get to a point where I'm out of everything. I'm completely out of water. I'm completely out of food, everything, right? So is Jeremiah. We got nothing. We ride up to this volcano. I'm done. I'm barely able to pedal up to the top of this volcano. We get this cool shot. It's beautiful. Dead inside, right? Can't enjoy this view. I really honestly don't even remember this part. I see it on pictures, but I don't really remember being there. That's how wrecked I am.
Our finish line is racetrack. And I said, you probably aren't going to be able to make it to racetrack. You'll probably have to pull over before that because the road
He
gets
went
too
all the
rough.
way to that like.
He's probably at the top. Here's a profile. Okay. I anticipated that he would be somewhere up there near Tea Kettle Junction. I'm good.
If that road goes all the way up there, that's.
Yeah, that's the top of the climb right there. So it all just depends on. We already have it incomplete, so I think we just have fun. Let's hop in the van and just get up there.
And in that moment, again, so weird how I just fluctuate. I ate, I think, like a fig bar or something. I'm like, let's just ride to 6 o'clock. Let's see how far we can get. Let's just try to limp ourselves along. And we're riding and we're riding, and now it's pitch black. And so we call it, and just to go from within about an hour period, smashing 400 watts and feeling like on top of the world, to just, I literally never want to see a bike again. Like the swings of emotion are just unreal.
Well, our very convenient and amazing late start sort of bit us in the booty a little bit. I mean, I regret nothing.
Yeah, we definitely got darked on here on stage 5 of the Impossible Route, Death Valley. But, you know, it was actually worth it because we got the most awesome ride in today. Was more than incredible. 9 hours and 55 minutes elapsed time. Yeah, we just need to conserve and start again tomorrow. Time to wake up.
Yes. The shot we've been waiting for.
This sucks. I didn't sleep for long. Dude. It was 100-mile-an-hour winds last night, and our tent was blowing away. Our tent was blowing away, and the only reason it didn't blow away is because I was in it. And so then it was like rolling me. I got 0 sleep last night. And then, anyway, the food here is really good, dude. Bijou's a freaking man. And he's been doing this oatmeal. Look at my lips are so chapped. Hemp seeds, oatmeal, peanut butter, maple syrup. I mean, we are eating like kings, man. And that's the only reason we keep going.
Gale force winds last night, just ripping the tent apart, and like just the sound of the thing flapping. It was like a bat's wings, just like smashing the top of the tent. So it was so bad, it was kind of funny. So I slept literally an hour last night.
So man, day 6, when you open your eyes and it's like, I was thinking there's no way we're gonna finish today. There's just no way. literally have to have Travis point me to my bike and like put me on my bike and then tell me go that way. And I'm like, and I just start riding. And then we get to racetrack, which racetrack is where this crazy phenomenon where somehow rocks move across this salt flat. So we kind of just hung out and played around a little bit. It was a really cool vibe. A lot of energy out there, man. In a weird way, it's like a different type of energy. But let me tell you, this day on paper is 2 climbs, not that many miles. So we get to this descent, and I can only describe this descent as maybe there was a road there one time and boulders, a volcano of boulders blew all over it. We had saw this moto guy coming up, because this is a moto course. Remember, this is a moto course.
How difficult is this route on a motorcycle?
It's up. It's straight up up. On this last mile, I picked up my bike maybe 6 or 7 times.
How do you pick up a 700-pound bike?
A lot of work.
So we start to go down the most craziest descent, full of boulders and rocks. And again, maybe on a full suspension, like a full-on downhill bike would still be a little sketchy. And we're on gravel bikes. So I'm taking it pretty easy. Jeremiah's having a hooting and hollering time. I mean, he's just so good, you know, show off, like just bouncing around this freaking thing.
Alright, so are all the rules off now? You guys just doing Cokes and burritos?
What are you talking about? I brought this.
Yeah, no, I oh, you brought it along?
Yeah.
The Coke in the bag?
Yeah, man.
Oh, I thought you picked it up from the car.
Dude, I have not taken anything from that truck.
All right. Okay. So rules are still
off
on?
my ass. I lugged this shit up. For one, I lugged this because after his Coke, he had a great ride. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna be good guy Greg, and I'm gonna bring a Coke up with me for him.
That was very
So I lugged it up this 5,000 foot climb, and then he already had one. So now that secret surprise for Jeremiah is a secret surprise for me.
It's like instant karma.
Bijou, I'd marry him, man. He is, there's pumpkin seeds in here, there's potatoes, there's falafel, the protein, the carbs. Oh boy.
Worth hauling it up the climb?
Of course. I've been thinking about it for 3.5 hours. Can't wait to eat that burrito.
So then we take off through like Joshua trees and we're just flowing through this thing. The road's nice and then it gets a little less nice and a little less nice and a little deeper and a little rockier, and it's just, you're like descending into just chaos. We stop and there's a left turn, and the left turn is just boulders. And I'm like, oh, he's just mistaken. That's a road to nowhere and we're just gonna keep going. And he turns left and I'm like, no, dude, no, please, please, no, please, no.
We gotta go all the way up there.
To the snow?
Yeah. That peak in the middle. Cerro Gordo.
What?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
What?
Last big test of the day. And let's do it.
And so now look, I'm not a great rider on any level. I'm not technically great. I'm not fitnessly great. And I know that on the film, it's not gonna look like it much, but a lot of these roads, to just clean the sections takes tremendous skill and power. But I think at this point, dude, I'm not doing bad. It's not really like, oh, I'm going hard, I could be going easy. You have to be going hard just to stay upright. And we're going up in elevation. I think the peak was like 8,000. So not only are we legitimately 40 something hours into the week, okay, we've been deficient in calories every single day. Every single day we're like deathly dehydrated. We are now at elevation, and I broke. I slip and I just fall over. Not a big deal, just a little slip, and I fall and I kind of tumble and I'm just sitting.
I broke. I'm a broken man. I'm broken.
And I'm done. And I'm just looking at the most beautiful view I've ever seen. But I don't have the energy to continue. Because it's not a matter of just pedal. Like, we're on a climb that's like 25% and loose gravel and so technical. This is hard to do on a good day, let alone where I am mentally and physically. And I just sat there for a good 10 minutes, had a pity party like nobody's business. But at this point, there is no option. And here's the thing, is what I told you is that whatever you think your physical limit is, it's so much further beyond that. Well, even when you hit your physical limit, if there's no choice but to continue past that, then you do. The only option that presented itself was to finish the climb.
I had a little emotional break there for a minute.
Yeah.
Really second guessing life choices.
Yeah. When we were contemplating this thing, he asked me, because I suggested a 4-day shorter but still gargantuan route. And he said, which one's harder? That's what I want to do. I'll remind him that.
And I don't know what came over me, man, but I did. I got and I'm pushing on the pedals and it's so hard. And like, where's the finish, dude? Getting to the top of that climb was to date the hardest thing I've ever done. Harder than the volcano, harder than the off the couch Ironman, harder than anything I've ever done. Because it was taking such a monumental amount of effort just to stay upright. We get to the top, I'm so done, dude. I am dying.
That's like, you know, when you're using your bike like a walker, like to lean on. Yep. The walking was like the restful part. And the part that was hard was just trying to muscle the gear. Just so steep. And that was the hardest climb of the whole damn thing.
But you know where we are? A freaking ghost town. So we meet this guy, we check out his ghost town that he bought, and you know, they filled us up with some water, gave us some great hospitality, told us a lot about the area.
You know, like 3 o'clock in the morning, my friend texted me a link to buy your own ghost town. And he texted it as a joke, you know, he wasn't meaning for me to follow through on it. And the more I read about the town, the more I just fell in love with it. You know, it's insane the things that happened here. You know, I grew up watching TV shows like Gunsmoke and all these Western shows, and this is like the real deal, you know. At its peak, they were pulling something like $500 million worth of silver out of the mountain. You know, there's a murder a week here, and guys like Butch Cassidy hid out here for a while. So there's all this history and lore, and I kind of just fell in love with the place.
Do you know what they're doing here today?
I'm briefly aware. It's crazy, you know. So I've never seen anybody coming from that side on a bicycle of any type, and so I know the route they're taking. I've seen Jeeps do it. I've never seen humans pedaling themselves throughout that route. So it's awesome. It's inspiring, and I think that's my favorite part about Cerro Gordo, is just being able to meet and interact with people that are doing fun and amazing things.
So then we descend off this thing where, again, we're like every 10 feet, we're like, this is the greatest view we've ever seen. It's the greatest view we've ever seen. Greatest view we've ever seen. come down off the back of this crazy mountain, man. And then it's getting dark and we've got a pretty good ways to go. And I don't understand how I could go from being literally, I can't even lift my head off the ground, to me and Jeremiah are full gas racing. And I am feeling better than I've ever felt before. Just power, man. I am feeling so much power. And we're straight up racing.
That was a day.
That was a day for, I was quitting. I was quitting on that climb. I sat down on the ground and I was not gonna finish.
I mean, I think when you're this tired, you're just kind of like running off endorphins. Oh, today we thought it was gonna be the easy 70-mile day.
But we're there, man.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
One more day.
One day at a time, and I think it's, you know, one is down, the other pats the other on the back. You gave me a push. You know, yeah, we're just getting through it together, one step at a time, one day at a time. Day 7 into the impossible route, Death Valley. And I crawled out of the tent this morning, at least knowing I got some sleep. The tent didn't like fold over and tuna can us. But when you're already like down to the 10% on the battery charge mode, you know, the sleep just gets you back up to like 20%. They were definitely in the hole. 50 hours of ride time. It's amazing to see, you know, what our bodies are capable of. I've never done anything like this. Honestly, this is one of the most amazing things I've ever done in my life. Not gonna celebrate until we're, you know, there.
I know I look wrecked, but the data is actually super impressive. So first of all, in the green for today, great. My resting heart rate this morning is the lowest it's been all week. Then 64, 63, those first 2 days wrecked me. Then it got down, but we're down to 44 this morning. That's good stuff.
I'm happy right now, dude. I can't believe that it's day 7. I shouldn't have been able to make it this far. I shouldn't have been able to make it past day 1. Day 1 was the hardest ride I've ever done. Then day 2 was somehow harder than that. Then day 3 was not super bad, but still a lot. And then day 4 was just ridiculous. Day 5 was terrible. Day 6, ugh. But we're here. Your body's like in its mode. Then you get out of its comfort zone and it starts throwing all these alarms. Your body's like, dude, stop, you suck, ah. And then if you just push through that noise, then all of a sudden your body's like, okay, we'll adapt. I love my family. I want to kind of symbolically bring them along with me. So I put these bands, the pink for my daughter, the blue for my son, the pink camo for my wife because she's just a warrior. It's really, there's been many times where I just look down and I just touch it and it's like, I can't fail. Because if my wife is supporting me this much, like she's, you know, I'm out, yeah, I'm suffering physically, but she is suffering mentally. I mean, these kids are just tag teaming her. I know she is just wrecked. She hasn't once complained. So like, I gotta know she's killing it. So I gotta kill it. I gotta make her work justified.
Love you, babe.
I'm feeling better than I've ever felt, ever on a bike. I told Jeremiah at the beginning, I said, we're racing, bro. I'm gonna attack you. I am full gas on today. I don't understand how day 1 I felt like an absolute pile of turds, dude. And day 7 I feel like I'm a Tour de France contender. So I don't know what that tells you about my body or my fitness or how literally we are 50 hours in 6 days and I have gotten stronger. I can't even begin to describe the feeling of this day. Like we're so close and we really don't have any one big thing we have to worry about. Like it all is like a pretty straightforward day compared to the other days. we end up hitting onto this like dirt road, but it was like a lake bed. Like it was so smooth, and we're just flying. We have like a huge tailwind. We're making a great time. The vibe on day 7 is just, it's the best. So now we do have one big climb, and we get to that point where we're starting to climb towards it, and we're just climbing and climbing, and it gets hard, and we start climbing the final climb of the trip. I mean, it was hard, it was difficult, but in my mind, it's like it's not even there. It's not even there. I'm so fit and feel so good at this point that literally mountains feel like nothing. We get to the top, and the film crew's like, bro, you are in for a treat. This descent is amazing. And they were right.
This is awesome, dude. It's like the red carpet laid out for us all the way home. Yeah, buddy.
Bro, I'm smiling from ear to ear. I cannot even begin to tell you everything about this day. There could have been barbed wire fences that I had to ride through and tear my face off, and I wouldn't have felt a thing because I'm so connected to my bike. I'm so connected to the universe, man. I'm in pure flow state. Pure flow state. Literally, we're riding off into the sunset. There's no words to explain what I'm feeling inside. I have bound up my emotions this whole trip and held them behind this hard wall of like, don't show your emotions, good or bad, right? I had a lot of bad emotions, but the wall kept everything behind. And all of a sudden, like a volcano, the emotions of this trip are bubbling up, and I'm like literally tearing up as we're riding into town. We have done it. I've done it. We did it. It's done. We did it. It's done.
Quite a saga. And though it may not seem like a very ceremonious finish line, it's one of great significance to us, as we've come a long way. And what I mean, come a long way, is not just distance, but it's the actual process in which we learn, which we stretch ourselves, and improve. So I think when you look at almost everyone in their life will come up against something impossible, something they think they can't do. And I know for Tyler, this is a perfect example.
It's hard to put in words. I mean, there's so many moments where you're just like, there's no possible way we could do this. And then you just put one foot in front of the other. But I would say, to me, the biggest part of it is having the right team around you. So if you're trying to take on your own impossible route by yourself, that's very difficult to do. But if you have a good support crew, and I'm not saying like SAG or whatever, just like your family, like you need some other people, you need good people around you, so there is no way you can quit. These little bands on my bars, I can't quit because of my family. The people putting all of their energy into this project, I can't quit because of them. So whatever you think is impossible, make it to where there is no option to quit, and you'll see your body do the most amazing things.
What's next?
Hopefully a burrito and a beer. So a really huge shout out to our fantastic sponsors. The Canyon Grail was a machine. I mean, just incredible. IRC tires, incredible performance from the tires. I'd like to thank Flow Formulas for fantastic nutrition, really kept us going, including Whoop and Apidura for bags, and of course Eliel for fantastic and super stylish kits. So happy to have support in these crazy missions, and we really hope to share and encourage and inspire others to go out and find their own impossible route.
Yeah! Oh, Jesus. Oh my God.
Fuck, dude. You good?
There you go.
And I anticipate, just like any broken bone, rib, anything non-surgical, it takes about 3 or 4 weeks for callus to start to form and for that motion at that fracture site to decrease, and you're going to start feeling better. I would push it like probably 6 to 8.